All right, it's that time for you podcast listeners. A little bonus for you. Cam Tucker with us for a little between the lines. BCLC PlayNow.com. And I'll tell you a quick little story. Saturday pregame, I'm escorting Xander Horvath over to the panel for the big interview with Katie Hamilton. And who do I see getting his makeup on, having his hair done, and making sure he looked good for the camera, which he always does, was Cam Tucker. How are you?
Getting all the start treatment. I'm doing good, fellas. I'm doing good. Just up in the Okanagan right now, getting a little sun and making sure that this face is taking care of itself. But yeah, it was a lot of fun to be down there on Saturday, and I know that the Lions, boy, did they really put on a show, especially in that second half against Montreal. That was a big win, and it was fun to be down at field level, kickstarting that game.
Very well. And apply the sunscreen this time, okay? Don't need a repeat of your
Yeah, no
sunburn from the
lobsters.
Maritimes, okay? Uh,
Yeah.
all right. On to more important matters, although sunscreen is important. Lions in Toronto looking for the first three-game win streak of the season and a chance to get back above 500. Haven't been above 500 since week one. Leo is opening as a 3-point favorite against the 2-8 Argonauts, Cam.
Yeah, and again, you know what? We tend to see this every week with the BC Lions. Their opening line, what their opening line is and what their closing line is can be quite different. And even in the time that between conversations that we had this afternoon, Matt, the Lions have actually moved to 3.5 point favorites. So a little bit of
Okay.
line movement towards the Lions, and I don't think it's going to shift as drastically as it did last week. Last week was uh, they're 4.5 point favorites. We do the show on Tuesday, Boston Pizza. And then all of a sudden, game time rolls around. They're 8.5 point favorites. I mean, they were starting to flirt with double digits there, which is really quite something. And for the Lions, I don't think that we're going to get into that kind of territory this week. But the Argos right now, they're really struggling. I mean, they're 2-8 straight up this season. They're giving up points left and right. They're 3-7 against the spread, and it just seems like for the defending Grey Cup champs, they've just never been able to get off on the right foot at any point in this season. They've had some moments. They had a big win against Winnipeg earlier in the year, but then fall flat after that. And looking at their quarterback situation, Chad Kelly is still on the 6-game injured list, so that's something that's hampered their season this year, I think. But they just have not been able to get going. And for the Lions right now, you got to feel like there's some momentum on your side. They have that loss against Hamilton, which I think that they played of a better football game than maybe what the results showed. I think, especially offensively, they moved the ball really well. Then you go into Hamilton, and you have this game where there's a lot of peaks and valleys in the game. I mean, there's momentum swings, there's lead changes, and the Lions seem to, counter those punches. And they get the big play in overtime. Then they get the game-winning field goal. That's a big win. Then you get an opportunity against Montreal where, in the first half of the game, Montreal ends up going with their fourth string quarterback. And for the Lions, I mean, you can't really pick and choose these moments. You can only play the team in front of you in the schedule. And now they get an Argonauts team that's really struggling. So I think for the Lions, a massive opportunity here, like you said, Bakes to get over that 500 mark. And, I think especially on the offensive side of the ball, they're playing some really good football right now. Nathan Rourke looks like a player that, you know, a few weeks ago we were talking about him as kind of falling out of that category for the MOP. And, now we got to look at him now, I think, is a real serious contender. If he keeps putting up 400 plus yards passing, I think he's eventually gonna put himself into the conversation as the favorite for the MOP. I don't think it's been decided at all. And for the Lions, there's definitely momentum on their side, especially on the offensive side of the ball. So they go into Toronto, a team that gives up a lot of points, and there's a real opportunity here for this offense to keep clicking.
Cam, the podcast listeners have heard a lot about Toronto's DeMonte Coxey as well as Keon Hatcher on our side. Little time traveling update too. DeMonte Coxey did not practice today with his head injury. So the two leading receivers in the league, we're gonna focus on our guy because Keon Hatcher, those over betters for his futures, I think they're quite happy right now, Cam.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible season Keon Hatcher has had. I mean, he comes back last season, middle of the year, off of an Achilles injury, which is one of the most devastating injuries that you can have in sports, let alone football, and comes into this season fully healthy. And you're starting to see, you're starting to see it all come to fruition for your Keon Hatcher. Right now, we had his preseason pass total at 950 and a half yards. He's the CFL leading receiver right now with 878 yards receiving. And I mean, if he has, quick math, I mean, I think he only needs about 70 or so yards to go over the mark on on Saturday. So I mean that's a huge season for him. It's always nice that if you bet an over, especially on a player prop at the beginning of the season, that it's going to hit before September rolls around, which is kind of interesting. But Keon Hatcher right now is having just a tremendous year, and looking at his progress recently, 3 games out of his last 5 in which he's gone over 100 yards receiving. And then you look at his target share the last 2 games, he's had 21 targets in the last 2 games. So, I mean, not only is he putting up big plays, he's one of the leaders in the league in yards after the catch. I believe he's got 6 receptions of 30 plus yards. So he's making huge contributions there. But the target share is really, I think, what's exciting, because now he looks like Nathan Rourke is really focusing in on him in the pass game. And, that's big news. I mean, Keon Hatcher's had a tremendous season. So he goes into this game, um, you know, we're very close to having the over hit, which is, I think, very exciting for players.
And I'll keep it short and sweet for you. This last question, the bet boost week 12. What do we got cooking?
Yeah, you know what? We kind of teed this up here, but we're going with Keon Hatcher. He's going to be the focal point, and so I think that we're going to look at some milestones for him. Kind of in that five plus catch range, and looking at his average, he's over 87 yards receiving per game. So I think that maybe we'd look a little bit lower than that, and probably at around that 70 plus receiving yard range. And I think right now the one thing that I've recommended to our product guys is, like, let's look at the BC Lions to win this game by 3 or more points. We've already seen the line shift a little bit. To 3.5 points. I mean, there's the possibility that it's not going to be as drastic as it was last week, but I do think that this line is probably going to move a little bit further towards the Lions as we get closer to kickoff. So my recommendation is, we're going to be looking at some Keon Hatcher receiving milestones, and then we're going to look to add the BC Lions probably to win by 3 or more points into this parlay.
Very well said. Love it. Keon Hatcher, he could hit 1,000 this week. You never know. You said it.
You know what,
950
Matt?
at the start of the year was the.
I was looking at the numbers. He's on pace for over 1,500 yards receiving.
Yeah.
Now, what an athlete is on pace for and what they end up. That's 2 totally different stories. But what a remarkable season to come off of such a devastating injury 2 years ago. Now he's back healthy and putting up these big numbers. I mean, is he going to hit that 1,500 yard milestone? I don't know. But the fact that we're talking about it, I think, speaks to just what an impressive season he's had this year.
Yeah, considering what he came back from a couple of years ago. Absolutely. And yeah, absolutely. All right, my friend, go get some more sun, and don't have too many beverages on the beach. Enjoy the family.
Yeah. We're making ribs tonight, so
might have to speed our way up there after this. All right. Yeah. Cam Tucker, a little between the lines, wrapping up first and now. No show next week. Lions are on the second bye, hopefully with a 6-5 record. So we will reconvene on September the 2nd, Tuesday, back to school and back to
all right, boys. Yeah.
All right.
Oh man, September rolling around. Thanks, guys.
Time flies.